Let's give them a round of applause. The Writers' Account.
I hate school trips. Something always goes wrong, and there's always a fight. I packed emergency headphones and a portable charger. There's such thing as fate, right? And you might as well prepare for it.
The trip was better than I'd expected, honestly. Usually when things don't go how I expect, it's a nightmare. Can't do anything social without basically writing a script for myself in my head. Viv says I need to chill out. Anyway, I was pleasantly surprised this time. I mean, listening to Joe lecturing me about his aspirations on the bus was boring, but I managed to tune him out and just kind of fell asleep.
The trip. The trip. Yeah, I was not looking forward to that. On the bus, they sat me next to Florence. Like, what am I supposed to talk to her about? I ended up managing to find something. I ended up talking about my aspirations and bullshit like that. Then she said she needed sleep, which was fair. It was an early one, and I was up late last night. Don't know what she'd be doing though. Not my problem. Gave me time to catch up on my streaks.
Nobody wanted to sit with miserable old Lachlan. The kids in my year either don't notice me or don't care that I'm there. Now that I think about it, probably both.
When I got on the bus, there's only one seat left. Next to a girl I don't really know. I think she's the sister of that Florence, the one who always seems to have her shit together and knows everything there is to know about music. I think we've probably spoken once before. I didn't even know her name. Anyway, you know how it goes. I then can't stop talking. Honestly, it was weird. Normally I can't get anything out unless it's to my mates. But there was something about her which somehow meant I could talk and talk and talk. Bloody hell, she thought it was properly weird.
The Lion King was my first musical, and let's hope it's my last. I spent 3 hours readjusting my sore arse in the few centimetres of space available in the theatre seat, whilst defending my left ear from Joe's rather excited karaoke. I was pretty occupied for most of the coach trip. I got on first, expecting to spend the journey in solitude, watching downloaded IT Crowd. But, to my surprise, Charlie sat beside me. And God, he can talk. Which was fine, I mean. I swear though, when we stopped at the services, he walked past me 3 times before Sir told him to park his arse.
The show was okay. Not the best musical I've ever seen, obviously. Nothing can top School of Rock. The seats in the theatre were ridiculously uncomfortable, but still, it was fun. I feel bad for Viv. She was sat in between me and Joe, and she gave me a serious help me look every time he started singing along to the soundtrack. He's actually got quite a good voice, but yeah, it got annoying quite quickly. Like, we get it, mate. You sing the songs better than any of the other students. Well done.
The Lion King. Ugh. What's so genius about Hamlet with animals? Oh, I know. They sing. What could be worse? I'll tell you, the year 13 singing along. I mean, have some sympathy for the rest of our ears. Joe was by far the worst offender. He sat 2 chairs in front of me and somehow made me believe he was right there with me in my bloody skull. If he could lower his voice a tad, he might have been half decent. Maybe. But he did look like he was having a good time, and unlike me, he had someone sat next to him. Made me feel a little self-conscious about the ring of empty seats surrounding me.
So The Lion King was an absolute flop, like I said. I think that someone needs to remind Sir that unless he fancies a career change, he should probably stop arranging Year 11 school trips. Don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing musicals. Hamilton, please. It would have been awesome. Alex saw one of the first showings and they have not let us forget it.
The Lion King was shit. What a surprise. By the time we got back to the hostel, all I could think about was about being on my own. Sadly, it was not meant to be. My room had 7 other people in it, all fucking on about how brilliant the costumes were. Please. I dumped my bag and backed out down the hall again, hoping the lobby might at least be empty of the musical theatre freaks.
I tried to slip away from the hostel, but I couldn't because of safeguarding. I'm literally an adult. So I went to the toilet instead, with the one in the downstairs lobby, so I could get as far away from the musical theatre nerds in my room, belting out lines from The Lion King. I know the music is good, only when it's sung by a professional, not a spotty camp wannabe. Plus, I hoped it gave me an opportunity to vape, but the new upgrades included detectors, so I got shoved back out into the lobby. Then to see the mismatched bunch that would soon make up our band.
Nothing to say about the trip. But then we're fucking around in this kind of alright hostel. They were me with the bitchy drama girls, apparently the closest thing there is to non-binary, go figure. So their displeasure about being roomed with a halfie was made well known. As if I'd perv on the likes of them, they can't even do their eyeliner straight. The corridors smelled like apples or something, proper sweet, covered in repeating floral carpet. It's trying to be upmarket, but kind of gives more landlord special than the Ritz. Not bad though. I stopped at a window where the sun was only just showing, perfect in golden evening bliss. Nowhere near setting. Great window, opened just right, and ideal for smoking. So I'm kind of slumping against this wall, setting my ashes down and smoke up, when some kid comes up to me. She has this expression like she expects me to notice her, and said something about my heels, then the outfit, then the vibe. Gotta love a compliment, right? Can't offer her a smoke or anything, she's got to be like 15. And then she says about her sister, Florence. Bingo. Don't hate me, but Florence is a fucking vibe, plays bass, music maestro, proper punk. I'm not exactly having a dry spell, but she's pretty eye-catching, and I like eye-catching. I like most things, really. She's got most things. Definitely someone I'd enjoy, if you catch my drift. Like I said, don't hate me. The eager kid's sister, Viv, I think she said, invites me down to the lobby. Apparently there's something going on down there. I finish my smoke and wander that way. Reckon it'd be cheaper to go and socialise than smoke the night away.
The hostel is cheap, but uncomfortably classy. Hostel should smell of piss, not apple blossom.
I couldn't sleep, and neither could Viv. For an unsettlingly nice hostel, I'm surprised they didn't have those like ensuite bathrooms they have in hotels. But they didn't, and I drank too much coke during the show and really had to piss. So Viv and I went looking for the toilets. We got a bit lost on the way back to our room, because apparently the hostel was designed by MC Escher. That's a joke. So we went to the lobby because we knew how to get to our room from there, and that's how we bumped into Joe. And that boy Charlie, who Viv definitely fancies. She says she doesn't, but I'm not stupid. They were both complaining about all the theatre kids who wouldn't stop singing, and I pointed out to Joe that he was also singing along when we watched the show, and he was like, yeah, but at least I can hold a tune, and it turns out I can. It's true.
They'd avoided me on the bus, in the theatre, and now again in the hostel. We were all in the same bloody room, and they still found a way to exclude me. What really pissed me off was when after no less than 10 minutes, they all started chatting shit about me as if I wasn't 4 feet away from them all. I needed a fucking joint. But I'd never even touched a vape, so that wasn't going to happen. I settled for sleeping on the lobby sofa instead. On the way down, I tripped over the last couple stairs. I thought I'd gotten away with it till I heard a quiet giggle from the top steps. It'd been that year 11 girl. Val? Vet? Whatever. I tried to play it cool so she was cute. I think I made a smooth recovery.
It ended up being a surprisingly good chat. They were serious about music, which was refreshing to hear. But the subject soon shifted to, of all things, dishing doubt on others. I mostly knew all of it because it was about my friends, but they spoke about them like I wasn't a part of that group, which was different. We could have gone on for hours. Maybe it was our desperation for some kind of friend-like conversation after being starved the whole day. Then it went personal. Personal grudges we have against each other, but also the fun, fake beef we have against others. I made an absolute knee slapper about it being tofu, and everyone laughed.
When I hit the lobby, there was a bunch of people chatting away. That girl was there again too, the one on the bus. Florence was there, and she waved me over. Why not, I thought, and sat down. They were all chatting shit about people on the trip. I just listened, but it was pretty good hearing them say the things I'd like to say if I could. Some guy called Joe, tall kid, thought he was all that. He made a really lame tofu joke. No one laughed. But still, it was good to be around people that I felt okay to be with.
After that, the conversation kept oscillating madly between discussing music tastes and bitching about our classmates. Surprisingly fun. Most of my classmates are dickheads, except Alex, they're nice. They joined us in the lobby, actually, but ripping the piss out of the rest of them was quite cathartic. Yeah, we ended up with a pretty big group. There was me, Viv, Joe, Charlie, Alex, and some guy called Lachlan. I found out they were from there does music. Well, obviously, we're all music students. But this lot were, like, serious about it. As serious as I am.
When we rocked up downstairs, there seemed to be a good handful of people knocking about in the lobby. Nobody I really knew, apart from Charlie. He was there. There were a few scrubbed-up leather sofas planted around, leading into a back room, centred around a buffed-up pool table. I started heading around it towards Joe, not singing, thank God, but Florence grabbed my arm and gave me the eyes. So I changed tack and stationed myself next to Charlie instead.
Then Florence said out of the blue that we should make a band, and after explaining a very thought-out offer on what we would each gain based on what we had just said in the conversation, it made sense.
So then they get this group together down in the lobby, and they want to start a fucking band. Mental. Flo, obviously, her kid sister, some year 12 with a keyboard, a kid called Charlie, who can apparently play the drums, and Joe Malone, as we like to call him, because he's kind of precious about the appearance. Yeah, pot kettle black, whatever. But he leaves a bit of an aftertaste, just like those expensive candles that when you put them out, the dead wick smell fills the room for hours afterwards. All fairness, he's pretty enough for his ego.
And you know what? It's not a bad band of six either. Right into the night, we sat and just chatted. It needed all five of us to break up Joe's autobiography with pieces of shit and bits of goth.
And then suddenly, there it was, fate. I knew it. I'd nearly missed the bus because I'd been to the shops first. And now, here I was, listening to the music goddess of our school, ask us if we'd like to be in a band together. Right, cool. Let's get going then, or my parents are going to come back to and bug us.
I wouldn't mind being bugged by your mum.
For fuck's sake, why would you say that?
Grim. All right. That's my mum you're chatting shit about.
Why don't we just all play something we know?
Like what? I could play Wonderwall.
Oh my god, no.
Right then. What? Heaven's Door? Bob Dylan? 3-chord classic. Everyone knows that.
Sorry, but no. I was thinking more like...
Or I could just teach you one of the songs I've already written for us.
Oh yeah, because your musical taste is so great.
Well, it can't be worse than The Lion King.
Who says you get to write the songs anyway?
You've got my back, haven't you, Lachlan?
Sure. When you guys have finished chatting shit, I suggest that we go with Alex's lyrics. And since it seems like we're all going to chat shit about everything, I've made a decision. We're going to call the band Beef.